Hi, this is Bob Clark, the Executive Director of CINEKYD. Here we are, teachers and students at a typical CINEKYD workshop. From 7 to 9 p.m. each Wednesday, we spend an exciting evening together, working creating radio and television programs. We challenge each other, adults and teenagers alike, to be as imaginative and creative as possible, and work toward mastery of both performing and technical skills. That means either working the equipment or being the actors. Sure, it's hard work. Getting to be expert at anything takes time and energy. But at CINEKYD, we have fun because we all enjoy the challenge of creating our own radio and television shows. Real CINEKYD productions. We'd like to take you behind the scenes by letting you view some of the videotape made at a recent actors workshop. These aren't finished scenes. In fact, they're not even formal rehearsals. They're practices where our teenage CINEKYD actors work to become effective performers.
One day, my parents and I decided to go down to New York. I was like 7 or 8, and we went to some department store. I'm not sure which one it was. And my mom, she was looking for stuff to buy, and I was just standing around waiting with her. And then we were waiting in line, and my mom was going to buy something, and I don't know where my dad went, but I thought my dad was in front of me, and because the guy in front of me had the same jacket as my dad. So I started hitting the guy in front of me real hard, and I just started hitting him. He wouldn't turn around, and I started punching him and punching him, and I just started hitting him. And then finally, I kicked him so hard, and he turned around, and I blew a bubble in his face, and then I got so scared because it wasn't my dad, and I ran out of the place, and I was crying. I was so upset because I was so embarrassed. And my mom was she apologized to him, and he thought I was crazy or something. And my dad he was all the way at the other end of the store, and I ran to him, and I was so upset. It was so embarrassing.
I was in about 9th grade, and I was changing schools. And I was new, and I was really shy and nervous, and it was about my second day. And I would want to come in quietly, and I thought I was coming in earlier than everybody else, but I hit the crowd, and I was coming down. There was a stairwell, and there was one case of stairs, and then there was a second case of stairs, and there were these big glass doors. And right in front of these big glass doors was our hallway, which was very small. In my grade, there were 5 people. So everybody was at their lockers. Yeah, it's 5 people. And everybody was at their lockers, and I was at the top of the staircase, and we weren't allowed to wear sneakers. We had to wear dress shoes. So I had on high heels. And I hit the top step, and apparently my heel got caught. And this girl was on the 3rd stair when I hit the top. So, in an attempt to get my heel out, my other leg shot out like this. And then I came unstuck, but I started falling down the stairs at light speed. And I was like this, falling down the stairs. One leg was bent back, and one leg was like this. And I was going so fast, but it was in slow motion. And I remember my thoughts. I was thinking, should I be casual about this, or should I look frightened? And I saw these people in the hall, and I saw this one girl go, because she was watching me through the glass doors, come down the stairs. And I thought, I'm going to hit this girl with my leg. So I thought, should I say good morning on the way by or something? So I'm falling down the stairs. I see this one kid go like this into the room, and people are putting their lockers away, putting their stuff in their lockers. This is embarrassing. And I hit the bottom of the stairs on all 4s. So I thought I straightened myself out, but I keep sliding right up to the glass doors, and I'm on all 4s looking in at the people. Very embarrassing. Thank you very much.
Well, no. This is not that funny, but it was the worst. It was one of the worst experiences of my life, and now looking back on it, it's kind of funny. Okay, anyway, I went to get my driver's license test, and it had taken me months. It'd taken me months to get my permit and to get everything straightened out with my parents and everything. And finally, I get to the test center, and we're the first car there, and they pull up, and I fill out all the forms and whatnot, and I come and I sit in the car. And I was very nervous. I had driven to Penn State the day before, and I was an okay driver, but it's a big difference driving for the driver's test. So I was very nervous. And then the police officer came and sat down beside me, and I thought he was nice man, and he'd be very easygoing, and he tells me to fill out this little thing, sign my name, whatever. So I sign it, and I was very nervous, and everyone had always told me, make sure that the instructor's seatbelt is on before you pull away, because he can fail you for not making him put his seatbelt on. I'd heard these horror stories about this one girl that, screamed at the officer to put his seatbelt on, or else she wouldn't go. The officer said, I'll fail you if you don't go. They went, and he failed her because she didn't make him put his seatbelt on. So I, as politely as I could, I turned to the guy and I said, excuse me, sir, could you please put your seatbelt on? It's like a bolt of lightning. The guy all of a sudden looks at me and goes, don't you worry about me, you worry about your driving. You're just going to make a left turn, you go up there, go up the ramp, and that's it. I've never been so scared in my life. I was nervous to begin with, and now this guy's yelling at me. I figured he failed me to begin with. He yells at me to start the engine, so I was shaking. I turn the key, the engine starts, and I look out at my dad, who's standing on the corner, and he points at my door. I was so nervous I'd forgotten to shut my door. I was about to pull away. I shut the door, I lock it, my seatbelt's on, and I look at my dad, pleading for him to take me out at this position. And he points at the instructor's seatbelt again. I figured, what's the worst thing that could happen if I ask him again? I mean, he kind of cut me off, maybe he didn't hear what I was saying. So again, I tried very politely. Excuse me, sir, could you please put your seatbelt on? The guy goes off on me. Don't you worry about me, you worry about your driving. So I pull away, I'm shaking, the wheel is turning both ways in my hands. I make the left turn, I'm going up the ramp. It's a very narrow ramp to my left, so I'm making a left turn and I'm slowing down. The guy's yelling at me. What are you stopping in the middle of the road for? We don't stop in the middle of the roads. So the guy's making me more nervous than I need to be. So I'm going up this narrow ramp, which is about a foot wider than my car, it's 2 lanes, So I'm trying to stay on the right side, and I go up. And I go to make the 3-point turn, and that was fine, and I come out, I'm coming down to make a left turn, and the guy yells at me again. What are you cutting corners for? We don't cut corners when we drive. All right, so I figured he failed me about 4 or 5 times already, no need to continue, but I kept going. And the final thing, one of the final things to do was the serpentine. And I'd taken the AAA, lessons. They say go through about 10 miles an hour, no faster than that, or else you'll lose control. 10 miles is a good speed, to that. So I started at 15, so I slowed down to 10. The guy yells at me again. What are you slowing down for? Keep going, keep going. So my foot instinctively hits the accelerator a little too much. I started going around about 20 miles an hour, just making all the curves. And since I'd gone up the ramp, this was raised off of the normal street. We were coming up to the last turn, and I just about didn't make it. As I was turning the wheel really fast, and this poor old man was plastered against the side of my door with like a panic on his face. I mean, I must have aged him at least 20 years making this turn. I just made it. So I'm coming out, he takes a deep breath, and I'm still shaking like a leaf, because I figured now he's failed me 6 times, so I'm pulling down. I pull into the, went back to where we originally started, and he says very calmly, or was trying to calm himself down from his fear of death, please just pull into this spot. So I'm getting close to the spot. It was, quite a distance away, so I'm pulling up slowly, and he says, pull in here! I said, I'm pulling in, I know. And he yells at me again and again and again to pull in this spot. I pull in the spot, and I put it in park, and I'm sweating. Unbelievable. I am just so nervous. I figured you might as well tell me I failed, because, I couldn't count how many times this guy yelled at me. So I look at him and says, did you take driver's aid in school? And I said, well, I didn't take it in school. I took it with AAA. Well, why didn't you take it in school? I didn't have enough room in my course load to take it, but I took it with AAA. I see you don't have enough room in your course load to take the classes that really count. Like driver's ed was, I can't take it to AAA. He didn't hear that part. So I'm trying to calm myself down, just accepting the fact that I failed, and I'd have to come back again and again, hoping I didn't get this guy. And he asked me, where do you go to school? I said, go to Cheltenham. And Abington being our arch rivals, and we also kind of lose pathetically to them every year. He turns and looks at me and goes, no wonder Abington beats you every year. So I'm like, fine, yell at me, fail me, and then back on my school, and he gives me my permit, tells me to go in and get it signed. I don't know what that means, I don't know if I passed or not. So I finally go in and I passed, and I guess that's the end of the story.
My standards are, first, that they have to be of sufficient moral character that I would trust them with my own children. That's the most important. Secondly, they have to love kids. Third, they have to know what they're doing. And that's the order in which I prefer to choose the staff, or to have the staff chosen for me.
Start in zero. Start in the lowest.
Try and zoom in.
Yes. Start in the slowest shutter.
Oh, this.
Yeah, but turn it all the way to zero. Now, okay. See how it's going?
Yeah.
Okay. Now just try to keep it still and go one at a time, turning up the shutter, and you can see what's happening.
My main role, the crew that I co-sponsor with Tim Bancroft, is the videographer crew. And what we do is we work with studio equipment, and for the most part, and every week on Wednesday nights right now during the school year, what we do is we shoot scenes of a little vignette to be shown on CINEKYD Theater. And during the summer, usually work with videographers also, and what we do is shoot a full-length movie during the summertime.
My responsibilities to teach the TV tech crew consist of showing them how to use the cameras, the microphones, the decks, the portable units, all different facets of lighting.
Now, can't hit the mic, can't hit the table, right? You hear it?
Yes. The actors and actresses do a special workshop, and that's televised every week on CINEKYD Theater, and I help Mr. Clark with the TV talent to get the actors and actresses into their roles and all that.
Get a meter reading off his face, set your camera to that meter reading, and put it on manual and leave it there. Okay, don't reset your shutter speed or your f-stop every time you reshoot a picture, because then what you're doing is you're exposing for different light sources that are coming into your camera and not his face any longer.
CINEKYD is an educational place, you know, is to teach the kids to take good pictures, and the style is pretty much photojournalist, you know, not really, we don't get involved in a lot of studio type, you know, shoots or that kind of thing, but it's basically recording behind the scenes of what's going on at CINEKYD, and that stuff is used in press releases and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, we just want to teach the kids how to take good pictures.
I feel like I'm a press guy or something like that who happens to maybe write well if he practices at it, and kind of tries to coordinate things with outside agencies and the public at large about what we do, what activities are going on here. And you know, like any good public relations person, tries to put the best face on things, get people involved and interested in our programs, and I think we have a great program.
The staff member here at CINEKYD, I do several jobs. On Wednesday evening, I work with the Visual Effects crew, and on Saturdays, I run the Tyro program for the younger kids.
Well, what we got to do is try to get this staff documentary done by the 11th. Because we have to hopefully wrap this up by the end of the year. And probably there are some other shows that are like floaters, little shows that are like floating all over the place, that we could probably, like after this, or even other times when you guys can come in and work on. That's the plan.
What I do when I'm at CINEKYD is I'm a staff member, which therefore means I kind of teach a lot of the younger kids. So I was here 7 years ago as a student, and I learned a lot, and I feel that I have a lot I can give back and teach other people. So I'm a staff member, and I teach the mobile video crew, which is you guys, and you guys go around and do a lot of behind-the-scenes shows for CINEKYD Theater and a lot of local cable channels.
My main role now is A group of various things. I'm staff member for the makeup and costume department for track. I also handle most of the bookkeeping for the office section and do various and sundry items in the office.
More than anything else, I want the kids to be honest, to be young men and women of integrity. I consider that to be the major priority. From that kind of honesty, you get hard work, you get seriousness of purpose, you get goal setting, you get kids who are willing to say, I want to be a great camera person, I want to be a great actor, I want to be a great actress. But first and foremost, that they, to thine own self, be true. Just like to get them to use their brain and imagination and really get into it and do it on their own, where they're do it on their own, but also at times when they have to, do it as a team, such as you're doing right now. So just be expanding the kids and trying to get them to realize they have more to offer than just, school and whatever else they do.
Actually, I have no idea what.
Dave, let's try to keep a shot steady because we just don't move, okay?
I've never been on my
Don't move.
But let's try to.
Students, what they're responsible for is they're responsible to learn exactly what's going on. Like tonight we set them out on a test. We gave them a test on the spur of the moment because they didn't learn what they were supposed to. So we put them on the spot, and basically they're supposed to learn how to use the cameras, how to use the mics, how to use the lights.
Take what I've learned from Mr. Clark and from older staff and from students that I learned from and then giving it to the new students.
Kids are expected to really give their best. They're expected to learn something and at the same time assume some of the qualities that they'll eventually have to utilize as an adult, which are pretty much the hallmark of CINEKYD: responsibility, teamwork, cooperation, and looking out for the other guy. It might be somebody younger, it might be somebody older than you.
Well, number one is almost anybody fits in here. I mean, that's kind of one of the unique things also about CINEKYD. A lot of the kids, sports are extremely important in high school and junior high. And there's a lot of kids who aren't into sports, but they feel left out because if they feel like, oh, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, there's nothing for me to do. Well, CINEKYD is a great place if you, especially, maybe you don't even know you're an artist, but you'll find out here.
Because there are certain people, you got to be winners, you got to be motivated, and you got to love what you do to be here. So if you're just here to have someone babysit, you're just, riding on someone's shirt tails, it's not going to work. You got to make it yourself. But I definitely think that CINEKYD's going to be a big success within the next next year or two, I'll say. Massive.
Actually, I like working with the equipment, and I like seeing how the place is progressing and different stuff we're getting, and actually the kids that we're working with.
The type of person it takes to be a staff member at CINEKYD, besides just either being a graduate of the program or not, or working in the field or not, dedication obviously is one of them. You have to be very dedicated, willing to give up time. You don't get paid. It's strictly volunteer, so you can't be in it for the monetary reasons. You should not be in it for any self-centered reasons like, you just want to be around the equipment so you can make a demo tape that you can give out. That it's not that. You're not here for that. I would say the real reason CINEKYD started was for the kids.
So I think all of us, and I just told you my personal experience, would like to feel that they're giving something back in their free time because somebody helped us out when we were younger, and I hope that we could have a chance to give something back and help somebody out who will be the leaders in the future.
Again, I think the more important thing really are the students and what they take away from the program and what they're able to put back into the program. I think watching the students grow and watching what the students can achieve is really the more important thing.
We've achieved 4 major recognitions in less than 6 months.
the Association of Visual Communicators, a national award that we won in concert with the Upper Moreland School District for productions that were shot and edited on this site, and we share recognition as Department of the Year. The second, very generous recognition from the Chamber of Commerce, naming the Executive Director as their Ambassador of the Year. The third award, the Telly Award, acknowledging excellence in television production. And that's neat because we had the only kids group that was in the competition. Again, there were college groups and graduate students. And then the fourth award, the United Way of Southeastern Pennsylvania, naming the CINEKYD staff as Volunteers of the Year. And I think that's pretty good. But we're not done yet.
Are you paying attention first? All right.
Well, you need to stay on your goals for about 40 seconds. You need to stay on your goals for a certain amount of seconds.
Exactly right, okay? And I said 40, 50, 60.
Isn't it 30 to 45?
30, 45, okay. Don't be a bean counter. The big thing is that you're ready to say your goal. If you can come as close as you can with seconds, that's great. Way to go, Brett. Never let us down.
My name is Will Fulmer, and my goal was this week that I had to get a good grade on my math test, my reading test, and my spelling test. So my spelling tests I got a 105. My math test I got a 100. My English test I got a 100, and my reading I got a 98.
All right.
I'm Ari Greenberg, and my goal, what do I do?
What was your goal this week?
Brush my teeth before I go to bed.
Anything else?
Did you achieve it?
Did you achieve it? All right. It is. It's great. Now hold your breath. And when Tyro's over, we'll tell you. All right. Tell us your goal.
I'm Joey Sansky, and my goal was to get a good grade on my social studies test, and I thought it was pretty easy, and I got 103.
Yay!
I was just talking, my goal was to see whales on my roller. Why?
How did you make out?
I got a solid 4.
All right.
My name is Josh Clara, and my goal was to get a good grade on my science test and to try to like my sister's show that she put on, and try to like my sister in the show she put on. I mean, not that she put on, I mean the shows that were put on in Cheltenham.
All right, very good.
And my goal was to move around with my dad, and surprisingly I got home. And I achieved that.
All right. Yeah.
I'm Ethan Borey, and my goal this week was to get a good grade on my spelling and my math test. I got 108 on my spelling test and a 90 on my math test. I'm Paul Cooper, and my goal was not to hit my sister, which is very, 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 very hard.
Did you achieve it?
I wish. Yeah. I'm Brett Cole, and my goal was to get all my chores done, and I achieved it by cleaning my room and making my bed and doing all that stuff.
Great!
My goal was to help move, and I achieved it by packing all my stuff and laying out what I was going to wear in the future.